Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Ashley Mayu, 11:30 in the morning. We're starting today, fast main track. You see it's a little sealed right now, just to protect it. And of course, we have the all-weather Tapeta today, and fun day of racing yesterday.
It was a really fun day of racing. We had the overnight handicap kind of later in the card and the Azalea. We saw big performances in both of those races. And you mentioned track sealed for now. I don't know about where you live. I know we kind of get different weather, but it did rain and thunderstorm this morning, and there are a chance of showers later today.
Well, we'll see how that plays out throughout the day. You never know in Florida, the track dries out so fast anyway. So we have a $150,000 gross jackpot guarantee in the Rainbow Six, which kicks off in race number 5 when we have a 10-race card.
Yeah, it does today. And kind of looking at the sequence, I think there are a couple races that maybe you can go lighter in, and I think the nightcap might be one to spread. And today's card, there are some big fields throughout and some competitive groups in there. And then also in the Rainbow Six sequence is our feature race today, the Biscayne Park.
Yeah, and that'll be races 5 through 10 with the $150,000 gross jackpot guarantee. So took care of all the early business, and now we'll get to the first race today. It's going to be about 5.5 furlongs on the fast main track. Maiden claiming fillies, 2-year-olds, 25,000. You can check with us as the day progresses what the main track is doing this afternoon, and then you put an early pick 5 ticket together.
I did, and looking at the early money, I don't have the 3-2 shot out of the Jorge Delgado barn. I used 3 runners in here. I'm intrigued by the number 5, Black Belt Barbie, as well as the 6, Crazy Cat Cousin. But my long shot, I guess, of the day that I kind of scratched into because my other long shot is out is the number 7, the Journey Girl. Race 2, just 2 runners in there, the 2 Authentic Heart, as well as the number 7, October Time, who I think looks extremely tough. Some people might single this one today. Race 3, 2 runners. I want 2 firsters in that maiden special weight event. Race 4, 2 runners as well. I go to the outside, the 8, Audio Scary, and the 9, Trap the Wind. And then to wrap things up in the 5th, of all the outside runners, my long shot of the day technically scratched. So I have the 10, Violent Zap, who I know you have some interest in, as well as the 11, Audio Stixie, and the 12, Awesome Appeal.
Outside over there, and I like the 10 this afternoon. When you see my Rainbow Six ticket, one of the horses I'm definitely going to use. Now, getting back to this first race, scratch the 9 and 14. Please note the number 13 is going to get in and run 16-1 right now, very early in the wagering, and the jockey change on the 1, make that rider David Baracco. And let's start with your number 7 and here, your long shot, and that's the Journey Girl.
It's another Raymond Minguette barn who's actually had a really good meet. When you look at them on the year, they're about 10 or 11%, but 17% at the Royal Palm meet. And a couple things to note, 2 starts under her belt. I thought her debut was okay. She split that field of 7, and then more recently, she kind of tired going 5 furlongs. But an interesting note today, she is dropping significantly in class. She's going to be for a tag for the first time in her career, and I'm really intrigued by the rider change, Edgar Perez. I feel like he's had a lot of multi-win days at the meet.
And, you know, like you said just before we came on the full field of 12 2-year-olds. And, you know, maybe you just watch the board like you said, and the horse to beat, it looks like as far as the early wagering goes, but it's very early, is astonishing. Annabelle for Jorge Delgado with Chantal Sutherland. I went with the number 6, Crazy Cat Cousin, stretching out slightly after responding to the drop down in competition with a stalk to pace 3rd against 25 maidens, going 5 furlongs. Mike Yates, how good is this barn going? You get Miguel Vasquez, a leading rider, returning on the start of Cajun Breeze. Hey, I'm jumping on the Mike Yates bandwagon.
Yeah, this is the weekend to do it. One on Friday with Dean Delivers, had a nice maiden winner yesterday, and maybe another maiden winner in the opener. I thought the second race was certainly better for Crazy Cat Cousin. She had a bit of a freshening, just a couple months off, and now going to make that second start after having that slight break. She's staying at the $25,000 level, and you see Miguel Vasquez, they've teamed up. They teamed up with Dean Delivers on Friday.
You know, Crazy Cat Cousin, a horse that actually finished in front of it last time out, I have in second today, and that's Black Belt Barbie. Want to go back and show you. First, we're going to show you the start with Black Belt Barbie. You know, she stumbles, and you're just going to see her at the start. And it's so hard when this horse goes right to its nose, and it's so, you know, tough to recover from that. But I thought this horse ran well. The 8-pole home, you're going to see she's in second, third there, coming into the stretch, and, you know, runs good through the stretch to catch her. Who does he catch? Crazy Cat Cousin. The reason I went, I just, flip-flopped him there because of Miguel Vaz. I'm just trying to be cute, but I have this exacta box on my ticket.
Yeah, Black Belt Barbie is intriguing. I'm curious to see kind of what she goes at in terms of odds closer to post time. But you showed the replay. I have a stat, so that tells you one thing. We both really like this horse, at least in the exotics. And I just looked at maidens that were in the money last out because she wasn't in the money on debut and then, stepped up in her second career start. So the past year, Jerry O'Dwyer's runners on this angle, 28% in terms of wins, 61% in the money with a $2.28 ROI. So she certainly improved last time out on the drop. And I think, she can improve once again today.
The number 3, Lee Boyana. This one is dropping to the maiden claiming ranks. Chased the pace, finished it even fourth on the special weight debut at the distance for Antonio Sano. Edgar Zayas. This is a daughter of Mucho Macho Man. I think they tried it. They're dropping this one where it belongs today. And I think this horse, and you can't go by the board now. It's all skewed because of all the money coming in on the number 2, Astonishing Annabelle, who we pointed to as the daughter of Practical Joe.
Yeah, La Boyana, I think, is an interesting one, just dropping another kind of similar story as the same can be said about others in here. Edgar Zayas is going to climb aboard for the first time. I was going to take a wait-and-see approach, though. Not the strongest angle from the barn when they give a crack at that maiden special weight rank and then drop.
Let's go to race number 2 this afternoon. This one's going to be about a mile and the 16th on the Tapeta. Claim is 3-year-olds of 4 and up. None winners of 2 in life, $8,000. No scratches or jockey changes in here. And you're absolutely right. A lot of people might be thinking of singling. October Time was changing barns, going to the Joe Orsino barn after that claim.
And has been claimed by some respectable outfits that do very well off the claims, such as Carlos David and Jorge Delgado. And you look at kind of this horse since having that break this winter and spring and has yet to finish worse than second. All of those efforts have been going 2 turns on the Tapeta. And I think in terms of numbers, when you kind of stack him against the rest of the field, he looks extremely tough. And I said it earlier, I think this could be a single for a lot of people.
He's the only 2-time winner in the field, too, which is one of my favorite angles. So he's done something that no one else in the field has done. The number 2, Authentic Heart. Well, look at that. We got the same try. Stepping up to face winners and adding blinkers today when making his first starts. He defeated those 12-5 maidens going 8.5 furlongs. That was back in May, but Jorge Delgado, he's pretty sharp with this type of layoff, over 20%. Miguel Vasquez hops aboard.
Yeah, and joins a new barn now who's had really limited starts at the meet, but a win in his second from an equal number of starts. Blinkers on today. The last 2 have been really respectable going long on the Tapeta. So this is one that I would say from 3 to 4 has matured and has a couple of works since that race on May 14th, one of which was a bullet on the Tapeta.
Yeah, Drummer, they're going to put the blinkers on again, hoping the equipment change will help turn the tables on his nemesis, October Time. So maybe the blinkers going back on Gilberto Zerpa Jr. Alvarado.
It's a good angle for the barn, almost 20% with blinkers on. The concern would be with Drummer. Just doesn't like to win. He's 1 for 22. He's got 11 minor placings. It's hard for me to kind of endorse a horse any higher than that, just knowing that he always needs to find more. And October Time has finished in front of him in those last 2.
Let's go to race number 3. This one about 5 furlongs on the Tapeta maiden special weight, 3-year-olds and up, no scratches, jockey changes. Now I picked this horse on Saturday, and I'm going to pick it again on Sunday. Neophyte, who was entered to run, as I mentioned. They decided to go here. Goes to the Claudio Gonzalez barn after the claim. And, set the pace, finished 3rd behind that repeat winner mailbox of money. That was a 25 maiden sprint on the Tapeta. I know it's a jump up. The barn is 20% with new claims. Jose Morelos handling the jump up today, the special weight company. So had to use this horse today.
So I'm the opposite of you. I had Neophyte selected yesterday, then looked at the spots, and I'm certainly not a trainer, but I thought yesterday's spot was slightly better for him. But you have a good point. When you start looking at the field, his race last time out, I mean, he's finished 3rd in all of his races, but last time out was a pretty good effort. First try on the Tapeta, and at least he has race day experience. We say this time and time again, how important that is for these horses, and that gives him an edge in here.
What are you going on top, by the way? Let's go. You went with Royal Quality.
Yeah, this is a $400,000 purchase back at OBS last year, a Son of Quality Road out of a Scat Daddy mare. So a big pedigree angle here, bred by Bridlewood Farm. And the works, had a slew of them at the Cassie Centers, had a lot of them. The last 2, though, at Palm Meadows, they've been great. They've both been out of the gate. Edwin Gonzalez kind of caught my appeal because I know the last couple firsters we've seen for Mark Cassie, he has not been in the irons, and I believe he was serving days. So now to see him back in the saddle maybe gave me a little bit of an inkling to use this one somewhere.
Yeah, the 6 horse in here. And, the number 5, I'm thinking probably named for the late, great Pete Axtell, is a beautifully bred son of Into Mischief, debuting for leading trainer Saffy Joseph Jr. I love Into Mischiefs. getting Lasix. The barn, 13% with first-time starters. Edgar Zayas in the saddle. So that makes me think this horse has a chance today, even though they're not known to have them, ready to run in the first start.
Yeah, they're not usually known, but the interesting thing is you see the work two back at Palmetto's was pretty swift for 4 furlongs, and then to stretch out in that most recent drill out of the gate for 5 furlongs. I liked seeing that. Again, a slew of works. This horse has kind of been all over. I see the horses at Laurel Park, so it's a Seltzer horse. Maybe he was in the barn of Justin Nixon, then went to a training center at Solera Farm, and then came to Palmetto. So they've been maybe trying to find where the best debut for him is.
And the inside horse, number 1, Charging Arrow, was debuting on Peter after vying for the lead throughout and finishing second against Special Weight Company, going 5 on the turf. Boy, Ronnie Spatz is doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, he's winning. He's another one. He's like the Mike Gates of the weekend. They've had wins on Friday and Saturday. And Charging Arrow, I thought, was intriguing because he debuted on the turf at Monmouth Park last year as a 2-year-old, had 2 solid runs, was favored in both of them, though. And then they tried this one on the dirt and made an optional, kind of stepped up a little bit, if you want to call it that, last time out on the turf. And he ran a really game second behind Jump Back Jack.
We're going to go to race number 4 this afternoon, and we got a couple of dates. This one will be at about 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Maiden claim is 3 and up, $25,000. Scratch the number 5, Harry's on the Beach, and note there's a jockey change on the 6, Salty Bird. Make that rider Sonny Leon, who joined us and actually got a win yesterday. And we'll start it off with your top horse in here, and that's Adios Gary, who's dropping today to the 25 level.
He is dropping. It's actually going to be the first time he's been in for a tag, and trained by Joe Orsino, another trainer who's had a great meet so far. Last time out, though, needed a bit more against maiden special weight competition, going 5.5 furlongs, which is today's distance. He ended up finishing 3rd in that race. I think, when I looked at the races I highlighted, it was 3 and 4 starts back. I thought his turf sprints were nice. Now he's going to have that second crack on the Tapeta. And the Tapeta's been, playing pretty fair to that barn. They've done well, about 15%.
I went with the number 7, who have a little further down, and that is Major King, who was a well-mid second against, I thought, a notch tougher in his previous sprint on the Tapeta. Returns to the all-weather track today, returns as a gelding, makes his first start since we're just running poorly on the turf back in May. But Victor Barboza is pretty solid with both this type of layoff and the surface switch. He bats just about 20%, and you get Ned Zayas in the saddle.
Yeah, the son of California Chrome, you mentioned, ran really well on debut and kind of did the dirty work, and there was forwardly placed on the front end and just surrendered late. Showed a little bit of greenness in the stretch, and then last time out didn't fare too well on the turf. So it bodes well for him that we're going back to the synthetic today. And Victor Barboza, Edgar Zayas, they do pretty well here.
Now we're going to give you some homework with the number 9, Trap the Wind, who's breaking from the outside. We're going to go back and show you the top of the stretch to the wire. He closes to finish second behind repeat winner, Mailbox Money. So you can see Trap the Wind here running. Now this one they decide for the run for the $25,000, where Neophyte gets pumped up to maiden special weight.
Yeah, they decided to keep things level here. And it's interesting to watch the stretch run here of this runner because he is trying to make up ground, and he's continuing to do so late in here. And you mentioned Mailbox Money, a repeat winner. And you see he hits his best stride really late, and that was going 5, today going back to 5.5 furlongs. But when you mention Mailbox Money, look down the page. Every runner that has won those races have been next out winners. They've been kind of talented horses.
Yeah, so Neophyte, they decide to bump up. This is your homework. So I said, you watch the earlier race, then you decide if you're going to sashay to the window and plunk your money down on number 9, Trap the Wind in there. The number, well, we did our 3. What else you got? Well, that was the 3 we had on there. What about the number 2 horse in here? And that is First Team.
Yeah, the Harry's on the Beach was kind of my sneaky long shot in here and scratch. And then we mentioned it. Mike Gates is doing well, and this is a horse where, for him, he's only had that 1 run on the Tapeta. It was as a 2-year-old last year. He faced some decent horses in that group, and even on debut, he faced White Barrio. So he's been, I think, in some pretty tough maiden special weight competitions now. This will only be his 2nd synthetic start, so we'll see if he can step up here with Jose Morales in the saddle.
Okay, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today, Ron and Ashley race 5-6 furlongs. Claim his fillies 3 or 4 and up. Non-winners of 2. Scratch the 3. Scratch the number 8 horse in here. Let's quickly go to my Rainbow 6 ticket here, and we'll look at it. And it's $43.20. I'm taking the rubber band off. Well, no, the band-aid is what they call it. Right in the beginning with Violent Zap in here. Just love the connections. I got coverage throughout races 6, 7, and 8. Race number 9. I wanted to use 3 in there, but my ticket would have been too much. And race number 9 is our feature race. That's the Biscayne Park. I'm afraid of Nikki Cannon there. I only use Sequin Lady and Miss Armette. So there's mine, $43.20. And as I said, Violent Zap is where I'm going to start it here. And what better way to talk about this horse than show its last race? We're going to go from the top of the stretch home, the number 4 horse in here. And just look at this horse. I thought it ran very well. And this was 24-1 that afternoon, so a good chance. And this was 12.5s, now going down to 6,250 for a trainer that's been on fire.
Yeah, the barn has been really well. And, you mentioned Violent Zap in this race. He keeps on going, and I didn't think he had the best of trips. He did have to kind of rally wide at one point, but he ran well in that race. We do have a stat to show for Cesar Figueroa's barn because you mentioned they're kind of lights out. They're 40% at the meet. Yeah. But just looking at first after that trainer switch the past 3 years, it's a very limited sample. It's actually a little less than 3 years because the outfit hasn't been training that long, but 33% for wins in the money 2/3 of the time with a $3.32 ROI. Edwin Gonzalez was aboard last time out, which is a good thing. He stays aboard, and look at the stats for them at Gulfstream Park, 56%.
Yeah, just doing incredible together. So Violent Zap will be my single in there. Yours on top, and probably the logical horse in here, and that's Adios Dixie, who became the only multiple winner in the field when she defeated this same level, going 5.5 furlongs on the main track.
Yeah, my long shot scratch out of here, the number 3 Brimage, who was 3rd in that race, and just watching the replay, Adios Dixie just was much the best. I mean, kept on drawing, away from the field in there and was a big price at 13-1 and certainly stepped up from those prior efforts. And I do think that cut back from some of her races before that helped her. Now she's going to stretch out just a tad bit more today.
And that is where the Rainbow 6 is going to start. So let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. About a mile and the 16th on the Peter Maiden claiming fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, 25,000. No scratches, jockey changes, and this is where we have our late pick 5.
Yeah, I'll speed it through this as well. Just 2 runners in the opener, Girly the Butcher and the 3 Profit Hunter. 3 runners in the next leg. But race 8 is where I have my single. I'm singling Safi again. Safi's been on a roll here and basically everywhere he's been this weekend. Caminero and Edgar Zayas going to be aboard this one for the first time. Really like this horse today. Race 9, 3 runners overall. We do have a typo in here. It's supposed to be 4, 6, and 7. I do like the 6 Nike Can, who you mentioned kind of scares you in this spot. Yeah. And then in race 10, I used 3 runners. I do think the 2 and the 5 do look tough, but I have a really crazy play in here. The 7, Chicorin, this one on the Angel Rodriguez barn, 30-1 on the morning line.
I'm liking that. That's what I like in those 30-1 shots. So that will help that late pick 5 pay very handsomely. This race, the 4 Girly, this is a wide open race, by the way. Girly the Butcher beating the nose at this level. Now, that was 2 starts back. Drops after the sightseeing 5th against those 40 maiden optional claimers going a mile 70 on the Tapeta last time out. Herbert Miller's the trainer. Jose Morelos handling the drop down. So, just didn't compete that well last time with a tougher. I think this is a good spot for this horse to bounce back.
I agree. Love the effort. 2 starts back, just got kind of nabbed in there, and that was a race carded for the turf. Moved to the Tapeta, and she kind of has this good race, bad race syndrome a little bit, so hopefully that means she can have a good race today on that drop in class.
Those are the race 5 selections up there, so they probably would change them in a minute. The number 3 Profit Hunter is the daughter of We Miss Audie, debut for Safi Joseph Jr. Ideal spot for a first-time starter to succeed. I think this is a wide-open, race.
And I like that this horse is just debuting at the maiden claiming level. They don't think they have maybe a maiden special weight kind of runner in here, debuting for the 25, Edgar in the saddle. And, with first-time starters, actually the better angle is debuting at the maiden claiming ranks.
So we'll see how race 6 plays out. Now we're going to flip the page, go to race number 7. It's about a mile and the 16th on the Tapeta. Allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds and up. That optional tag is $25,000. Once again, the slate is clean, no scratches, jockey changes. And you went with the 1 Journeyman, who I added on my Rainbow 6 ticket because When I went back and looked, I said, I'm going to miss this horse on some of those back races on the all-weather surface.
Yeah, that race back in January at the end of the month, Great Run on Pegasus weekend, that overnight handicap was actually, it was that day. It was on Pegasus Day. It was the Carousel, which is our handicap that we had on the Tapeta. Finished second behind Wolfie's Dynaghost, and I loved both of these horses in that spot. I know the next race was so-so, but for me, I thought last time out, another disappointing effort, but don't forget who we faced, Ramsey Solution and Iman, who we thought we might see yesterday on the program. Calibrator was third in there, was second yesterday in that overnight handicap. So I think this is some class relief for him.
Yeah, I went back and looked. I know you had picked it, and I said, you know, every once in a while you miss one, so I had to go back. I added it to my Rainbow Six ticket. Added on my ticket a little further down, but I did go with the number 7, Sig Run Fast Boy, stretching out slightly. Hoping to make amends today after finishing an even third. Was the favorite that day, going a mile 70 yards. That was also on the all-weather track for Steve Dwoskin, and you get Miguel Vasquez in the saddle.
Yeah, he's been riding really well this weekend and all meet long. And last time out was third behind Public Information and Timmy M. I thought it was a good effort. I just know that I used him on top, and he didn't get the job done. But when you go to that race 3 back, he wasn't beaten by much. And I said the name already today. Nova Soul won yesterday's Hallandale Beach.
Well, I'm glad you used a 5. I didn't know what to do with Lorenz, the Brazilian bred. His debut locally for Safi Joseph Jr. Won 4 of 5 races in Brazil. It's versatile son of Forest. He's won on both turf and dirt. Tries the Tapeta. You don't know what you're going to get here.
I have no idea. I mean, he's won at 7 furlongs on the dirt, most recently a mile and a half on the turf. So we'll see what he does on the Tapeta. The barn's obviously been firing on the synthetic. I keep on saying the connections. Just a wild card. I mean, he did win a Group 3 last out.
I'm guessing number 4 horse might be named for Matt Carruthers from TVG. I'm not sure about that. Another one stretching out, wide open affair. Debuts locally on the Tapeta. Finished 4th behind Sig Run Fast Boy. You know, second run over the surface might be a positive for this horse.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think last time out, this horse had some trouble if you catch the replay. I don't think it was significant, but it was maybe enough to make a little markup.
Race number 8 this afternoon. 7 furlongs. Claimers 3-year-olds, 4 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. 35 to 25. Scratch the 1. Scratch the number 7 Uranium. Trust Daddy was my long shot this afternoon. Thought this horse had a good shot in here. You single. You take it over with Caminero.
Okay, I got to really stop talking about Edgar Zayas and Safi Joseph Jr., but this one finished 4th last time over the slop after having a bit of a freshening. The top 2 came back to win next time out. And another horse I talk about, Smiling Trifles, is just really good at that starter optional level. And thought the maiden scored 2 starts back. This horse didn't need the lead, was able to track the pace early on, and just was much the best. I think this is a logical spot for this horse to run back, second off the layoff. And when I looked at the pace scenario, wasn't sure what was going to happen. I know Big and Classy has some early foot as well as the horse on the outside.
Yeah, that Caminero comes out of a really nice race in here. And talking about Safi and Edgard, I'm certainly on the Mike Yates bandwagon here. Full disclosure is stretching out the 7 furlongs. Boy, held on gamely to not just second career victory when defeating this level, going 6 furlongs. I mentioned Mike Yates. Marcos Menes is at the controls.
Yeah, he's one of the 2 main pace horses that I saw in here, and he gets the advantage, in my opinion, of having that outside draw. I like horses with speed on the outside. He's 2 for 2 here on the main track, and he's got a shot at making it 3 for 3. We made good TV. We have all the same horses, just kind of flip-flopped in every spot.
Yeah, Big and Classy, turning back to 7 furlongs on the main track. Rest of pace last time out, finished 4th. That was against the bias that day. A lot of horses were coming from off the pace on the Tapeta, and that was behind that repeat winner, Laker Mamba, and in front of a pair of next out winners. So it's a big key race for Big and Classy coming out of. So make sure you mark that down. Feature race this afternoon, race number 9, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. $55,000 is the Biscayne Park. No scratches, no jockey changes. And you went with the number 4, Miss Oromet.
I think Miss Arama gets class relief. I know she's been in these overnight handicaps, but kind of looking at the speed of the race is running memories not in here today certainly benefits her because she's won those last 2 overnight handicaps. Now, the only knock on her, she's still looking for that Tapeta win where others in the field, they have multiple wins on the Tapeta, but I think from a class perspective, she looks extremely tough.
I went with the number 8 horse in here, Sequin Lady, who's a consistent daughter of He's Had Enough. Going to try and make it 2 in a row. So we're going to go back and show you this horse's last race from the 3/16 pole home, when she splits horses. I thought it was a really nice performance. She draws off to win, and it was good. It was just a really nice performance. Splits the horses, of course, was the number 1. You see Sequin Lady, very game right to the wire. So I just thought off this performance, I'd go back. I like the connections of Kelsey Danner, Edgar Perez. And what a day this was for Edgar Perez. If you remember this day, that is the day that he had 5 winners. You can see he's got all those fingers up. So 5 winners for Sequin Lady that day, and we've been mentioning him too, how great he's been riding. So Miss Oramet in second, and then here's the one, Nikki Can. I didn't add it to my Rainbow Six. I just think this horse is going to run well today.
Here's a stat for this horse and kind of the connections here for Jose D'Angelo. Just in synthetic sprints, they've been tough to beat. 31% from a sample size of 54 over the past year. 72% in the money with a $2.61 ROI. Traves was able to get the job done last time out by a nose, but 2 starts back. I thought she ran one heck of a race, and Miguel has been aboard in both of those efforts and kind of retains the mount.
Yeah, Nikki Can 9-2, and mentioned Traves 12-1. And this is a Nikki Can, a hard-knocking 7-year-old daughter of Cat Farrow's. Boy, she's one of those special horses that you like that just keep running and running and running well. Race number 10, 6 furlongs, claimers, 3-year-olds or 4 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. The number 7 is listed as a gelding. You went with the number 5 horse in here, and that is I'll Finish, who's hoping to finish at 3/4 of a mile.
There's 2 big, I think, heavy favorites in here. The 2 and the 5, we each pick one of them on top. And for me, the big thing with All Finish is last time out, I know kind of got tired late in there going 6.5. But today going to cut back slightly to 6 furlongs. I just thought it was a great effort from that one, first time at the 12.5 level. So with horses like that ran pretty good, even though I might have expected All Finish to win next time out, I give them one more try staying at that kind of level move.
Well, you went with the number 7 on your ticket, on your late pick 5 ticket. And this is the one that's 30-1.
Yeah, might be wild. I mean, I know the horse is 30-1 morning line, and if you look at those races last year as a 2-year-old, don't look at them. They're pretty bad on paper, but last time out, in a race that didn't really have a ton of pace at the 12.5 level at Tampa, which I would say is lesser than our 12.5 level, this horse was able to circle the field and get up by a nose. So I'm just curious, well, the new connections, what they figured out, Angel Rodriguez's barn with this horse, and at a price, Marco Meneses rode this horse at Tampa late last month. We'll try to maybe get him in there.
Yeah, and that's the one listed as a gelding today. So I don't know if he was gelded then or he just got the information or he's a new gelding. So that is how we see the 10 races. But Ashley put together another sparkling lightning round, and let's get right to it.
Yeah, I put a lot in the lightning round. We talked about some big performances yesterday on the Saturday card. How about lastly in the Azalea? We've talked about this filly, kind of all the things that she's been able to do, I should say. But yesterday, another dazzling performance.
She was so impressive winning this race. Of course, Ron Spatz, the trainer, there was no doubt she was winning this race.
Yeah, it was never in doubt, and it was kind of surprising to us that she didn't go off favored in that spot, but she certainly looked like a favorite kind of all the way around. Now, other horses that we love here, and we have a big special place at our heart for, is Jesus' team out of the Jose D'Angelo barn. He just returned to the work tab. We've seen him win kind of at a bunch of tracks, but big thing is he's had to suffer a bout of salmonella and laminitis.
Amazing that he's coming back, and if you talk to Jose, he's got a special place in his heart for Jesus' team, but I think it's Jesus' team. So I can't wait to see this horse come back.
Yeah, I never know how to say his name. We can argue about that all day long. Next one on our list, though, is up at New York today at Saratoga. The Quick Call is their feature race, and we were just talking about Quick Call. I mean, he lived to be very old, and I believe 35, but the big thing is he kind of started that aftercare movement, and he was working with inmates.
Yeah, he was working with inmates, and I had the pleasure of going up and visiting the inmates, the female inmates up in northern Florida a couple of years ago, and it was they just love the horses to death, and it's a great, you got to donate whenever you possibly can.
And something else we linked up Quick Call's resume yesterday in his final career start. One of our coworkers was aboard. Aaron Greider piloted him to a second in his last race before retiring. Another thing about Saratoga was yesterday, the Diana Grade 1 event. Chad Brown had a lot of horses in there, but special to us, the Grade 3 Honey Fox winner in Italian was able to kind of dazzle on the front end and take the Grade 1 Diana.
Hey, Italian, I like this in Italian, 8-1.
Yeah, it was definitely the biggest price out of the Chad runners, and it almost looked like she was kind of going to get tired after setting a pretty nice 109 and change for 6 furlongs, but she was able to get the job done over her stablemate, so always nice to see horses that found success in the winter have success elsewhere.
And course record. That was a course
records. That was exciting as well. And one of our favorites down here in South Florida is one of Safi's horses, White Abaria, who dazzled here in the Grade 1 Curlin Florida Derby. going to breeze and figure out if the Haskell's going to be their next start.
Yeah, this is a really special horse, so I guess they make that decision after the breeze, like you say.
And another announcement, too, I guess, looking at the Haskell at our sister track, the Preakness winner, early voting, that's going to be his next start. So we're going to see some of our favorites, I guess, duel up in New Jersey not too long from today. Now, other notes we got, our best bets and our long shots. Best bet today, Ron, where did you land?
That was that number 10 horse that I singled in the Rainbow Six, so it'll be in race number 5, Violent Zap at 4-1. Just a good connections, have been winning in bunches, so that was my best bet this afternoon.
Yeah, 40% at the Royal on meet. Mine comes a little bit later on the program in race number 8, I believe, the number 6, Caminero for Sassy and Edgar Zayas. And then your long shot, not today again.
Not today. Two of the 3 days this weekend, my long shot's been scratched, but we'll see how that plays out. And I know you have a nice long shot in here.
Yeah, and for me, I guess looking at my long shots,
Well,
my first long shot scratched. So my second long shot again comes in the opener, currently on the board at 15-1 from that 6-1 morning line, the Journey Girl. So it'd be tough to get this one home in that big field round, but we got plenty of action ahead of us.
Yeah, and you had a winner on Friday in the first race with your long shot, so see if you can do it again. That's how we see everything here this morning. Of course, we're going to turn it over to track announcer Pete Aiello so he can give you all the scratches and jockey changes and whatever else you need to have a winning day here at Gulfstream Park.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.